Is polymer clay toxic? Does it melt from heat? Can you bake the same piece more than once? In this video, I'm going to clear up the 10 most common questions about polymer clay. Hi, I'm Sinta, and I've been working with polymer clay for more than 15 years. I remember that when I started working with this material, I had all kinds of doubts. I searched online, but many times those searches only increased my uncertainty. Through trial and error, learning from top artists, and many hours of hands-on work, I managed to answer those questions. Now I want to share that with you. The leading polymer clay brands are certified as non-toxic for craft use. What's more, since 2009, the major brands have removed dangerous phthalates, replacing them with safer plasticizers. The issue with phthalates is that at high or prolonged exposure, they can be harmful. They act as endocrine disruptors, interfering with the hormonal system. So I recommend you always use verified brands. Fimo, Kato, Sculpey, Cernit, Pardo, or PV Clay comply with safety standards. Don't risk your health over a few cents of savings. Once cured, polymer clay is essentially a solid vinyl plastic similar to many products we use every day. Yes, you can use your home oven to bake polymer clay. When baked correctly, it doesn't release toxic fumes. Just don't use the same tools you cook with. Keep a dedicated set for polymer clay. The risk comes only if the clay burns because you exceeded the curing temperature. Always check the curing temperature for your brand and use an oven thermometer every time you bake. Time isn't the problem, it won't burn just because it stays in longer than recommended. Temperature is the issue, so never exceed the maximum listed on the package. If it does burn, it happens to all of us, turn the oven off and ventilate the room well. The gases aren't lethal in brief exposures, but they can irritate eyes and airways. You can use polymer clay with young children, but don't let them handle it unsupervised. They might put it in their mouths. It's also important to have them wash their hands well after playing with the clay. Beyond fine motor skills, it helps them learn to organize and make choices. What figure to build, what colors, where to start. It also boosts self-esteem. They can keep their creations without them getting ruined and carry them around to show others. And above all, remember the special bond we create when we share part of our lives with them. A well-baked polymer clay piece is quite resistant to ambient heat and is waterproof. Unlike air-dry clays, cured polymer clay won't dissolve or soften in water. After baking, you can get pieces wet or wash them gently, they're fully waterproof. It also won't melt at normal temperatures. A cured piece stays solid until it nears baking temperatures again. That said, excessive heat can slightly soften PVC. Thin pieces might soften a little if left in the sun or near a strong heat source, but they'll firm back up as they cool. Properly stored polymer clay can stay fresh for years, as long as it's kept in a cool place and protected from dust. Outside the original packaging, you can store it in glass jars, plastic wrap for food, or plastic containers. If you use plastic containers, keep in mind that not all plastics are advisable, because the plasticizer in raw clay can soften or dissolve some plastics, like polystyrene or PVC. The easiest way is to check the recycling triangle symbol on the bottom or back of the item. Inside the triangle, you'll see a number from 1 to 7. As we can see in the chart, the ones labeled 2, 4, or 5 are recommended. The ones labeled 1 or 7 are better to avoid, and the ones labeled 3 or 6 should not be used, because they do react with polymer clay. If you don't see the triangle, look at the material. If it looks like foam or a rigid plastic that snaps when bent, it's usually polystyrene. Don't use it to store clay. If it's flexible and tough, like Tupperware-type containers or Ziploc-type bags, it's usually polyethylene or polypropylene. You can use those without a problem. This issue happens only while the clay is raw. Once baked, it's inert and doesn't react with other materials. Polymer clay can be baked multiple times with no problem, as long as you don't exceed the brand's maximum temperature in any cycle. In some projects, it's actually better to bake in stages. For large pieces, partially baking as you go helps ensure the interior cures properly, and you can keep working without damaging areas you've already finished. As we've already seen, time isn't the issue, it's temperature. Many clays can bake for hours without degrading or changing colors. If your pieces break easily, they weren't baked correctly. To reach full strength, both time and temperature must match the brand's recommendations. Polymer clay is made of PVC particles and plasticizer. In the oven, with enough heat for enough time, those particles gel and bond together into a continuous plastic. If you underbake on temperature or time, that bonding doesn't reach the center, the outside feels hard, but the inside stays grainy. The result is a rigid but brittle piece. Edges chip, and when you bend it, you'll see a white stress mark, evidence of microcracks. No, you don't need to varnish bare polymer clay. A well-cured piece is already strong and stable. A natural finish or a sand and polish is more than enough. If you add paints, powders, or metal leaf, then it's smart to seal to protect those materials, not because the polymer clay needs it. If, for looks, or because you used other materials, you want a varnish layer, first test it on a small scrap of the same clay. Some varnishes react with polymer clay and leave a sticky surface you can't use. The reaction can take up to 2 weeks to show, so give it enough time before coating your actual piece. If you plan to apply more than one coat, always let each layer dry completely before adding the next. Water-based polyurethane varnishes often work well. Some polymer clay brands sell varnishes formulated for polymer clay. From experience, I still recommend testing first. Another option to add shine or protection is epoxy resin. It's very durable, but measure and mix carefully so it cures properly and doesn't ruin your work. In general, all oven cure polymer clays are compatible. They're based on the same resin, PVC, with different plasticizers and additives, and you can mix them without adverse reactions. The only thing to keep in mind is the blend will inherit in-between properties. For example, mixing a very soft clay with a very firm one gives you a medium consistency. If you combine clays with different curing temperatures, always bake at the higher temperature to make sure both cure. Most clays bake in the 230 to 266 degrees Fahrenheit range. A difference that's small in degrees won't cause the lower temp clay to burn. However, the higher temp clay might not cure if you don't give it the heat it needs. One exception is Kato, which cures at 302 degrees Fahrenheit. If you mix it with another clay, bake it a little above 266 degrees Fahrenheit, or simply at 266 degrees Fahrenheit for a longer time. You can mix clays to change firmness, to reach a color, or simply because you have small amounts of two types and need more volume. There's a common myth that polymer clay is just a kid's modeling clay for simple crafts, that you can't make high-quality, durable art with it. That's far from true. Polymer clay is extremely versatile and professional, used by established artists for sculpture and fine jewelry, as well as by hobbyists for crafts. Yes, it's marketed for all ages, and there are lines like Fimo Kids, but that doesn't mean its possibilities are basic. It has grown into a recognized artistic medium. Many artists have shown polymer clay works in museums and galleries, and created murals, high-definition sculptures, and design pieces. Because it's lightweight yet strong, it's ideal for modern jewelry. Combined with the stunning finishes you can achieve, polymer clay becomes a unique and versatile material for original, art-forward jewelry collections. Its wide color range gives a creative palette other media don't offer, and you don't need an industrial kiln, which lets any maker work from home with professional quality. As for durability, a well-baked polymer clay piece can last for decades. It isn't water-soluble, it doesn't rust, and the color stays vivid for years. You can combine it with painting, resin, metal, wood. It's highly adaptable. We're almost at the end of the video, but before I reveal my secret, if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. That helps us keep making videos like this. This video is a human-AI co-creation. I'm Cinta's digital avatar, created with hygiene from an image generated with ideogram, which in turn was based on a photo of the human Cinta. We generated my voice with 11 labs by cloning the human Cinta's voice. The human Cinta wrote the script and edited the video. ChatGPT generated all the images needed for the video and helped with the structure and with researching the more technical facts. With Canva Magic Studio, We corrected any potential errors in the on-screen text. The background music is by our fabulous human, Arturo Gonzalez. If you want to learn all the secrets of artificial intelligence to apply it to your artistic work, visit our website, CucuArt.online, and check out our course, Artificial Intelligence and Craft, Innovating Tradition. I'll leave the link in the video description. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.